Welcome back. Suddenly, the House of Representatives looks as if they are finding their rhythm in the affairs of rivers. The Speaker said that constitutionally, they are supposed to take up the legislative arm of the River State government. And as a result, the Speaker has formed, I think, a 27-man committee. 21? Okay. To oversee all the legislative duties of the House of Assembly in River State, making of laws and passing of whatever needs to be passed. Philip, it's like they've woken up to reality.
Well, I'm surprised at the action of the National Assembly because there's nowhere in the Constitution, as far as I know, maybe I might not be right, where it is provided that during emergency, the House of Rep will now become the State House of Assembly that will be making law for the Solad. And again, what is emergency, state of emergency? What we have there is a sole administrator. What is sole? That is, the individual is solely responsible for the administration of the entire state. So what laws are they making? I mean, it's baffling. Whether it is really baffling in this country, whether those who were elected into office actually know what they are there for. You can, what he's alluded to, it's only when there's crisis in the House of Assembly and you still have a civilian governor. That is when the National Assembly will start for the period of resolving that crisis, that you make laws for the good governance of that state for that period, not in a military. What we have is a partial military system in River State. So what law do we have? House of legislature during the military for a Solad? I don't. It doesn't make sense to me, because what we have is a sole administrator, and what I understand that word to me is that the man appointed by the president is solely responsible for the administration of River State, both in lawmaking, in execution, and the only arm that is not suspended is the judicial arm, which you can take matter to for interpretation. So I don't know where they come in. Maybe somebody should enlighten me.
Okay. Peter, you heard what this Speaker said.
I think it's a welcome development. See, I'm not taking away from what you just explained. Somebody should, I don't think he should have a free rein. I don't think the civil administration should have a free rein. Like what has actually is happening now in River State. I remember some years ago, similar thing happened in Edo State when about 4 members' house under Obaseki. I think there was a push for the National House of Rep
to take over. So that's what Philip is saying.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only circumstance
where
where
they suspended the house, so somebody should be watchdog over the governor. You don't spend state money that way. You don't. Okay, if that is the case, this is a failure project. Federal government should sponsor the cost of the project. It should be state funds. If you don't want anybody to adjudicate on the state fund, federal government should see. Emergency is a federal project, and which should be sponsored by federal government. See, this man has had friends. He has disbanded every board. He has reconstituted every board. Who approved it? He's doing appointment every other day. See, for me, the way we are now, we've gone beyond legality because everything about that thing is not legal. So we're waiting for the court. Thank God that PDP governors has gone to court. We are waiting for Supreme Court interpretation for us to be clear. Until then, he should be regulated. He should not have free reign over Rivers money and appointment. That's my take on it.
Philip, from what we see, we don't know the mandate to which the sole administrator was given. We don't know the laws that back him up, really. Of course, there's a section 305 that says the president can declare state of emergency under conditions outlined. We've seen all that. But we don't even know on which regulations that he's operating on, because we've never really had this before. Now, don't you think there should be an interpretation, or it should be made in the public domain of what he can do and what he cannot do? Because he's doing everything.
Yeah, you see, even though we do not have what mandate is operating on. What is simple, from what we had experience in our past, a sole administrator, by the provision of the Constitution, was meant to go there to restore peace. The only time you can declare a state of emergency is that there's chaos. The place is chaotic. So every person that is there, step aside and let this man to come and restore peace. It's only so aimed, the way I understand it,
Yes.
is to restore
Stop
peace. And that is his mandate. Yes, I'm really taken aback that the man is appointing REC, that is the chairman of Rivers State Electoral Commission and all that. I don't know what he wants to do with that. That is what really baffles me most. Is he planning to conduct election
local government election?
But that's not to say that, you see, two wrong doesn't make it right. The law is the law. We cannot say because the man is not acting within the law or the man is acting beyond his mandate, then we should also act outside the law. I have never seen anywhere where a scenario where a House of Rep will legislate for a Solad. It's strange. So that's why I said two wrong doesn't make it right. The man should stick to his mandate of restoring peace and stop meddling into the affairs of who become REC, who appointed board chairman and all of that.
Local government administrators.
That is not his. That I don't think that's what the mandate, the spirit of the law that allowed the president to call for emergency require. You understand? So the president said he took a proactive step to forestall chaotic situation in Rivers State.
A breakdown of law and order.
If that is what the man is there to do, is to ensure that the peace remains, and once the peace is there, those elected officers should be restored to their office. And for the House of Rep to say that they set up that one-man committee to oversee the affairs of the Solad is another way of feeding into the River State resources. It's the same people who everybody wants to be part of the River State cake. If you are saying the demand is where you want people to regulate it, are they coming to just look? They are coming there to collect money. If they settle, then they will go away.
For oversight function.
Exactly. So the man should be made to stay by his mandate, and those people in the House of Reps.
So who will now make him
to stay by his mandate?
It's the man who affected him. The man who mandated him.
So now hold on first. I like for you to clarify something for me. Now, within that mandate that he's given, we want him to rule by that mandate, govern by that mandate, because whichever way is governing.
Do you know the mandate?
Well, we don't know. No. I think I know the mandate. The first mandate was that keep it, like what you said, let there be peace in Rivers. Now, we also didn't see, but because the president said he foresaw, right, as at the time of being brought in as a Solad, there was no breakdown of law and orders in Rivers at all. Let be truth be told. Now, there's something you said that two wrongs cannot make it right. A flagrant disobedience to the constitution of our nation, don't you think is a line being stepped by anybody, either the president or the sole administrator, or the house that approved that the sole administration will be gazetted?
Thank God you made the last statement. Who is the greatest culprit in this matter? Is the Federal House of Representatives and the Senate. Have you ever had anywhere in the world, or have you ever imagined it, that for you to attain to third, that you can attain it
going there
with a voice vote? Instead of, when they said to third, they want to do head count so that you can record it properly. How do you record a voice vote? If you see the House of Rep, they have lost their right. They have the right to ratify or not to. They didn't do that. Now they want to get cut out of the cake. Everyone want to feast from River State. They are not going there to do any watchdogs. They are only going there to collect their share. The speaker will be, he said this to the man committee, you might be surprised, these people were lobby to be there. So when they get there, they collect, they will come and give to him and they pocket. You see, they've taken us for a ride for too long in this country. What are they going there to do in River State? When they were meant to say no, there's no breakdown in law. Exactly. What are they trying to do?
No, the truth that he has said it all. See, from us out there, the Senate has gotten theirs. House already wants to get theirs too. Because, as I say, how can you ratify by voice vote? It should be by ballot or head count. So how can we now identify who the two-thirds from voice vote? And there was a rumor that money was shared, and House was left out. See, this impunity in Rivers State, it keep expanding. It's unbecoming. My only happiness is that PDP going to court. We want this thing defined. We want to hear the Supreme Court adjudicate on this. Because if they don't, Rivers is just a starting point. If Supreme Court do not adjudicate well, Rivers is a starting point. We'll have a one-party country, one-party state. But everybody wants to avoid having problem with the central. So I hope that judgment will be expedient. So that we'll put this nonsense to bed.
Okay, but Philip, we have also not seen the presidency or the president, or under the president's executive arm, them trying to regulate and tell him you're overstepping your bound, keep focus. Or is it a script that is written that is acting?
Well, that's not within our knowledge. We wouldn't say for sure whether it's overstepping his bound, like you said, and it's not being called to order.
No, because do you know why I said that?
Yeah, I'm going there because
you said
he has a mandate.
Yes.
So that's why I'm going.
Peace.
He has a mandate. We don't know whether the mandate to keep peace include. That's why I said it's not within our knowledge. It includes what he's doing to appoint rec and board chairman and all of that. We don't know it's part of keeping the peace. We don't know the mandate. It's only known between the Solad and the presidency or the president. So if I don't have the information, I can't speak on it. I don't have the information, but I know as a fact what is known in the public is that when there's a state of emergency because of chaotic nature of the state, when you call in a Solad to administer, one of the things is to restore peace. That's the only thing that can warrant a state of emergency, and that's the only thing that can warrant the suspension of the city governor and the House of Assembly, and bring the man to restore that peace, so that in time of restoring the peace, you try to resolve the issue that led to the chaotic situation in the first place. So I don't know whether what he's doing include all of that.
I want to differ.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Because he's accountable to someone. What he's doing is scripted. For me, that's my opinion. Because if he's not, they would have called him to order. Do you think he'll go ahead and disband without making recourse to who sent him there? Do you think he'll go ahead and reconstruct boards on his own?
Or dissolve boards?
On his own?
Set up local government administration.
So this thing is, to me, is scripted. It's acting according to the script, to me. Because he can't on his own, without making recourse to who sent him to do those things. He doesn't have such powers on his own. Because if he's not, they would have called him to order. He would have reversed it.
Whew. The constitution of Nigeria, I know you know, is sacrosanct, and it's above every other personal, whether it's morality. We've said that here a couple of times, and that's what we want everybody in this particular that is involved in this particular case of River. Why I'm actually quite disturbed about the River case issue, it's not just because it's River, it's because it will now be set as a precedent all over the country. And before you know it, either religion, ethnicity, or whatever comes into it. Because the governor can just come and maybe there's a little stuff in the north and he said there's a state of emergency, governor is stepped down, and they said no. And the governor will say no. We've seen this before, we don't want to go back to that. And that's why we want the Nigerian that works for everybody. Well, that's our prayers, and I think that's where we'll hang it off on this. While we'll see how effective the 21-member committee from the House of Rep will be efficient. We'll be following on that trail. Okay, we'll be right back.